on, be with me.
Southwest Florida. Welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. We're here at McGregor Clinic. We got an outstanding 20th year anniversary celebration that's taking place. Glad we could bring Lee Pitts Live out here to be Johnny on the spot. That's what we try to do at the television show. We try to be everywhere, and we certainly try to be where everybody else is not. And so we're proud to be one of the media groups who is here today for this 20th anniversary celebration. We're right off Broadway in the heart of Fort Myers. McGregor Clinic does an outstanding job, one of the leaders in education and medical care for people with HIV and AIDS, or people who want to know their status. We have here a board member for McGregor Clinic, Robert Bobo. He and I go back a long ways. In fact, the first time I did a show on education of HIV and AIDS, before it was so commonly known now, Bobo had his boots on the ground and was running around here in Fort Myers educating people back in the 90s. You might be surprised to know that, Siobhan. I interviewed Bobo around 1995, 96, right, Bobo?
No, it was close to 91.
91, okay, see? Now that lets you guys know that Lee Pitts Live has been on the air for 28 years since I interviewed Bobo back in around 1991. And I remember you came, we were in the old Barnett Bank building, right?
Yep, right down on Cleveland Avenue.
Bobo, you'd be surprised to know that I've interviewed, over 20,000 people now. And because I've interviewed so many people, I don't even remember everybody I've interviewed. But I do remember interviewing you because your topic and what you were talking about at the time was such a high-profile thing in the community that people just weren't being educated on. So what's it like, first of all, for you to be here now at a 20-year anniversary of an organization like McGregor Clinic?
Well, with the advances in medications and the prevention messages, and actually if people get educated about HIV, we could actually rid the world of HIV. Treatment is prevention, and prevention is prevention. But if you can get treated now and get your viral load to undetectable where you won't be able to spread the virus. 20 years, I didn't think that I would ever see this day. Back then, people were, from diagnosis to death was like 18 months. I didn't think that we would make this many advances in the 30 years that I've been doing HIV.
So 20 more years from now, at the pace that medicine is progressing now, what would it look like?
Well, it depends on the population. It's recommended by the CDC and HRSA that everybody get at least tested once in their lifetime for HIV so they'll know their status. If you know your status and you do the prevention work, whether you're positive, you get into treatment. If you're negative, you do the prevention work to not become positive, then I think probably in 20 years we will have the end of HIV.
Wow, that's good to hear. McGregor Clinic to you plays what role in our community, and how important are they?
Well, it's giving voice to patient choice, as is on Sharon Murphy's, the CEO's voicemail. But that was the impetus for starting the McGregor Clinic. It was in opposition of the agency that I headed up, the AIDS Resource Council, which after I left, it's gone defunct. But I'm not going to say it was because of me, but that's the case. But it was giving voice to patient choice. We didn't oppose to opening up McGregor Clinic. People had to go where they felt comfortable, especially back in the early days.
Now they take a holistic approach, McGregor Clinic, that is. They give people clothes, food, pharmaceutical care, counseling, just everything under one roof. How important is that in terms of getting the education out there?
That's very important. I mean, the holistic approach is one-stop shop, which was the original idea of some of the agencies when I first moved to Fort Myers, is to make sure that we could do one-stop shopping and try to take care of client patients with all their needs.
And one of the things that I noticed around here all the years that I've been doing interviews and being around McGregor Clinic, it seems like the staff and everybody who works for McGregor Clinic has a high level of passion about their jobs. Do you find that to be the case, that people who are in the HIV and AIDS movement, education, and healthcare have a lot of passion?
Well, that's sort of kind of unique to McGregor Clinic. The CEO, Sharon, and Amy Zamat, the prevention director, make sure that the entire staff has full knowledge of HIV and its origins and where they're going with it. They make sure people participate in the regional planning boards and the statewide planning boards. They're very educated staff.
Now you're a board member now. You sort of elevated yourself from being a hands-on educator on the street, running clinics and receiving awards. I've seen where you received numerous awards over the years in your work with HIV and AIDS. What award that you received are you most proud of?
Well, actually, it's not in HIV. It's the Golden Baby Chew Award from the Healthy Start program. It was in recognition of when I was out in Hendry County and making sure that we got pregnant moms' viral load down to undetectable before they delivered, therefore decreasing the chances of the baby being HIV positive. But that was teamwork, and I'm too old to be running the streets and hitting the streets, so you have to get some type of reward. So I guess being on the board of McGregor is that reward for all the work that I've done over the 30 years.
Okay, man. I'll tell you, man, getting Robert Bobo on the show, this is history in itself, man, because I think it's been at least 10 years since I've had you on the show. But the idea that you was on the show so long ago, and, I think you had a full head of hair at the time. I had a full head of hair at the time.
Lee, I've always been bald since birth.
Oh, okay. So I had a full head of hair at the time. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you one of those brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi, weren't you?
Definitely.
Oh, man.
Side till I die.
Oh, man. Having those Kappas on my show is always an experience, boy. Of course, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Okay. What are some key things that your board is kind of looking into now or keeping their eyes on? Or, just take us in the boardroom, kind of some things that are being discussed.
Well, I'm a new member of the board. We've only had like 1.5 meetings, but my goal is to make sure that the agency stays dedicated to its mission and the goals of the organization.
I remember when you were on my show years ago, and I've had some other interviews that I've done related to HIV and AIDS. We still have to make sure that one of the rising populations in there is the African American community in terms of them being educated about that. Speak to this.
Well, actually, statewide and locally, we've done better in our area, the 7-county area of Hendry, Glades, Charlotte, Lee, Collier, and Sarasota. Back in the day, 30 years ago, African Americans were the number one population that were being disproportionately infected with HIV. With the prevention message and folks learning about how to prevent getting HIV, that number has gone down. It's still disproportionate than the population in our area, but it's gotten a whole lot better. Statewide, African Americans are still disproportionately infected, and I pretty much stay on statewide boards and local boards to make sure the focus stays on that community and we don't get neglected.
Okay, so you're on other boards as well.
Yes.
A legend, people. I'm sitting here with the legend, Robert Bobo. He's keeping his eye on the prize. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and I'd like for you to make some final congratulation type speech or comments to McGregor Clinic for what they do here.
Well, I want to congratulate Sharon Murphy and the board and the staff of the McGregor Clinic for 20 years of dedicated work, and hopefully 20 more years we'll be out of the business, and that's the goal.
Okay, there you go. We'll be right back with more Leap Is Live.